nuts and things like that. But I always seem to digest a little different on the road. I always just seem to feel everything a little different because I'm not mobile. I made a little bit more things with sodium in them because I drink some of the Monster drinks to stay awake. But my body definitely swells up. My legs swell up. So it takes me 2, 3, 4 days sometimes to get back in the swing of things, not just sleep-wise or anything like that, because I was, on the road for, driving for probably about 24, 25 hours out of, a 36-hour span. So that's a lot of sitting, a lot of, being immobile. Point I'm trying to make is when you sit on the couch all day, your body's doing the same thing. You're not getting activity. You're not getting that blood flowing. And I'm telling you, even as consistent as I work out now, it takes me 3 to 4 days just to get back in the swing. So I can't imagine if I've been sitting like that for 3 or 4 years and how long it would actually take me to get going. So what I want to talk about is, I was thinking the other day, I'm driving around on some sales calls and, I got a couple of good sales appointments. I got all pumped up and then I get a phone call and it's, maybe some news that, makes it a little bit tougher on my day. So I go down and it's emotionally, you're in a roller coaster and we all live through that. So what I'm trying to do is like live through the happy times, like grab what brought you up, what got you pumped up, what got your adrenaline, and try and remember what that feeling was like and grab onto that feeling. That's what you need to get up off the couch and get started. Whereas we've got a lot of exciting things, we're learning new things every day. When I was down in Atlanta, I met with Thrive Weight Loss Clinic down there. They go through a ton of our Angle Food pizzas. It's conducive to their diet plan. They have 5 locations down in Atlanta. They're growing every day. We're getting ready to team up with them and bring some of their locations to Pittsburgh, and their meal type eating. They do it more on categories rather than point system like Weight Watchers. So it's kind of exciting what they've got going and what we've got going that we're going to be coming together. A lot of things. I'm up here at Mac Fitness, and I'm here with Joe, the owner up at Mac, and Joe's also a professional boxer. He trains multiple different sports, multiple different types of athletes. So I value Joe's opinion on getting started on trying to teach people. Joe actually teaches my son, my 13-year-old, MMA. And I brought him to Joe because I'm very confident. I've worked out here, for a while. I watched how Joe interacts with people and how they handle people at Mac Fitness. And, I figured when my son got old enough, that's who I wanted to train him. So I brought him here when he wanted to get into MMA, and Joe's been, teaching him from scratch. And he did his first tournament about, 3 weeks ago and did incredible. But I want to introduce you to Joe, right now. Come on back here, Joe. I want to introduce you to Joe and, see if Joe might be able to help us with some of the fitness tips and different things like that. Like I said, I don't consider myself a guru, but I know a lot, a little bit about a lot of things. So this is Joe. Joe's the owner of Mac Fitness, so say hello, Joe.
How's everybody doing? Joe Devosevic from Mac Fitness. It's a pleasure joining you guys today.
So give me a little bit about your background, Joe. Your professional background, not only in fitness, but as a trainer as well.
I've been working with the general public and athletes for about 15 years. Personal training, personal boxing lessons, group boxing lessons, working with elite athletes. That's where my specialty is. I enjoy working with people and even the general public. I just enjoy making people better, getting people in the best possible shape they can get in, getting them on a general routine, fitness routine, to where it makes their lifestyle a little bit healthier, to where they can just get through the average things they do in life a little bit easier. Everybody has ailments. We understand that. It's never too early and it's never too late to start into a fitness program. So that's the nice thing about my business is I deal with a wide variety of people, athletes to the general public, people in their 70s and 80s. There's a routine for everybody, and we try to just make their life better, better quality of life, from the nutrition end of it to the fitness end of it. And I think I'm in the best business in the world.
Let me ask you this. You talked a little bit of touch base on a lot of things that we talk about, and in your personal opinion, how important is the nutrition side of being healthy and being fit?
The nutrition is the key. If you look at the pieces of the pie, you have the nutrition, you have the consistent training program. if you put it all together, that's 3/4 of it is the nutrition. It's the gas you put in your car. If you're putting low-grade gas, low-grade food, fast food, that's what you're going to get out of your engine, and your engine's not going to run as long. So it's just common sense. It makes sense, and I think a lot of people know what they need to do. It's just a matter of them getting into that type of program and understanding that healthy food can also be convenient. They just don't know where to go for these type of products. And that's why we like the Health Up Cafe concept and the Angle Foods. These things can be heated up and you can eat them in 10 minutes. We've got the nutrition bars. They taste great. They're not expensive. And the convenience, and they work well in the fitness centers.
Okay, so you also touch base on, older people training, younger people training. Like, there is no real limitation age-wise. It's more of the limitation in your mind rather than your body, regardless of your ailment. Is that correct?
That's everything. 90% of everything is in your head. You just need someone maybe to prod you along and get a plan and get you confident in yourself and knowing that you can do exercise. There's something for everybody. Whether it's a knee, a lower back, a neck, you want to, number one, get yourself feeling better first. Once you start to feel good, then you can focus on other things. If you feel good, you're more likely to stay with something. And then you begin to look at yourself in the mirror, and month to month you see different physical transformations in how you look. But the number one thing is in the first 4 to 6 weeks, get someone feeling good. And then after that, they start to lose the weight, they start to shape up, put some muscle on, they can do activities they haven't done in a long time, whether it's golfing or just getting in a car and riding for 3 hours and getting out and they're back feeling good and they can walk and they're not stiff. It's the simple things like that.
So, what I talk about a lot of times on, the Spread to Health is, moderate changes. We're not, our Spread to Health and our Health Up transformation is not about making bodybuilders. It's not about making professional athletes. It's about taking the average person, getting them feeling healthier so they can do exactly what you just said, doing things that maybe they haven't done for a few years that aren't overly strenuous, but they are something that you need physical, awareness to be able to do.
And I think you have to be honest with people and take a realistic approach. Just say, when you look at these magazines and you see 30, 60 day transformations looking from this person to another person, that's not typical results, and a lot of times that's a bunch of it's not real at all. So you have to be honest with them at first and say, look, you've got to put the effort in. It's going to take time. If it were that easy, everybody would do it. But once you chip away at it and put your time in little progressions, you're gonna begin to see the results. And whether you're dealing with an elite athlete or you're dealing with just the general population, you want to do everything in progressions. Little baby steps. You crawl before you walk before you run. So you give them exercises that they can handle, and then they progress to other exercises. And that's the same with an elite person. You don't throw a new exercise at them without making progressions with that exercise.
Okay, yeah, like I talk a lot about, taking somebody who's been on the couch for years, and, there's no way in the world you take them and you throw them in the same category as somebody who's been training for years. So, what I always said, and I want your opinion on this, Joe. What I told the people in the transformation, the first week I wanted them writing everything down that they consume, just to give them an idea of what they're really consuming.
Yep.
Then the people who were, completely out of shape and completely overweight, I had them start strictly cardiovascular those first few weeks, along with watching their diet, maintaining and logging their diet to make some adjustments.
Right.
Once they did the cardio, then I said, okay, you've shown an improvement, 15, 20 pounds you've lost, you've done great on the cardio, now it's time to start actually doing some weight training or muscle training, should I add, because you can train your muscles without weights. There's a lot of different routines now. Would you agree with that approach?
I think that logging everything at any level is important, because if you're at a certain level and you log your exercises, your routine, your eating, you can always go back to that, refer back to that if you've gotten good results with that. You can keep the things that work well for you, and you can throw out the other things. The same with the nutrition. If someone logs it for a week, and then even at the beginning of the day to the end of the day, most people don't remember what they had for breakfast.
Yeah, I agree.
So by the end of the day, you ask them, "Oh, I don't even know what I had." But if you log it and you see it, and you're aware of the calories, and you're aware of what you're consuming and the types of foods. Did I drink enough water? Did I take the correct vitamins? Did I forget something today? If you log it meal by meal, did I skip 2 meals? Did I have breakfast and dinner? All of those things, and the times you eat, everything you have to take into consideration makes you aware of what you're doing, and you'll get better results that way.
Okay, from James, what exercises would you recommend for a bad back? I spoke with Doug about this on a previous show. Actually, James, Joe and I spoke about you right before today's show, and I want Joe is going to show you a couple lower back exercises that can just get you started. I spoke to him specifically about you. It's hereditary, it's not an injury, it's not slipped discs or infused discs or degenerating discs, it's hereditary, your back burn and your back problems. So if you give me about 2-3 minutes, I'm going to have Joe demonstrate a couple of beautiful starter exercises. One thing I did want to talk about before we do that is I read something this morning, and you know, there's a lot of people, a couple of them on the transformation, but a lot of people out there, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that, I work this to this, and I work 4 jobs. Now, the thing I read this morning was, when you live your world by appointments, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
I live my world by appointments. Most people live their world, their business world, their personal world on schedules and appointments. Okay. What I read this morning was, you know, make an appointment with yourself. Okay. Schedule an appointment with yourself. So schedule an appointment from 5 to 6, 6 to 7 with yourself. That nothing else is going to bother you, because that's a scheduled appointment. If your boss called you into an appointment at 4 o'clock. To 5 o'clock. You'd go in there, you'd shut your cell phone off, you'd be with your boss, you would go over business, and you'd be done when the scheduled appointment was over. Do the same thing for you, but during that hour appointment, do something physical. Get yourself started. I'm a firm believer that it has to start with diet, but you also need to get some blood flowing. For Melissa, do you guys have a personal training?
Oh, do you guys have personal training?
We have, yeah, Joe, actually, it's 90% of his business is personal training. They're up in Wexford here. Incredible. I highly recommend it. My wife has taken boxing classes here. My son's taken MMA. I've worked in the last couple of boxing classes and just had an incredible workout. I've got a lot of people on our transformation that are taking the class. Hold on one second. Hey James, we're live right now. Can I call you back? About 15 minutes. All right, thanks. Bye. That was James, who does the MXSN network for us, and we're working together with him to get our videos and everything out there into a larger mass of people. But bottom line is, make that appointment with yourself, stick to the appointment, make some time to be physical, get yourself, I don't care if it's walking around the block. If you're just starting out, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're doing something. If you've been doing it for a while, then seek some more professional information. If you want to call into this show or chat into this show, you're welcome to. We'll be more than happy to answer anything you want. What do you think of that approach, Joe, as far as making an appointment for yourself and making that time?
Well, I know with my busy schedule, I'm in a gym 12 to 15 hours a day, and it's a lot of times hard for me to even find time to work out. So I understand what it's like after a busy day and then trying to drive to a gym instead of just going past the gym to the house and forgetting about everything. But even I have to make an appointment, and it's tough some days. Whether it's an hour or 45 minutes, a half hour, just get it in. Just keep yourself in that routine. Keep yourself in that routine, and I guarantee you're going to feel better getting to the gym than skipping that workout. Just get in the routine, even if it's a half hour, 20 minutes, and get a little bit of a workout just to keep yourself going in that routine. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half. An investment of a half hour 3 times a week is better than nothing, and it keeps you going in your routine.
Hold on one second, my daughter. Hey, Gabber. Hello? Yeah, baby, I'm on live right now. What do you need? I'm on the internet live, honey. We're filming. What do you need, baby? Don't. About 2 o'clock. Okay? Okay, I'll be home at 2. All right? Love you, baby. Love you, bye. Sorry about that, but we are live and I can't not take my baby girl's phone call. She's off school today, so I just want to make sure she's okay. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You know, we're all busy. We all have excuses to not be healthy, but it's time to get rid of the excuses and start paying attention to ourselves. You know, we all sacrifice a lot of things to take care of everybody else. But you can't take care of everybody else completely unless you feel good about yourself. So, you know, that's what it's about. It's about, you know, healthing up. It's about starting on yourself. You know, we've talked many shows about, you know, whoever the lead of the household is, if you start it, it'll trickle down. If I personally agree with the mother being the leader, because the mother's cooking the meals and making sure that the kids dads are goofballs. We don't take care of kids. We're not nurturers. We're you know, rough, tough, whatever we are. But women, even if they're working, they seem to be more of the nurturers and making sure the kids are taken care of and those type of things. So I want you to start changing your habits so it trickles down, you know, to the rest of your family. Like I said before, you know, imagine a guy who's 300 pounds and his wife is 200 pounds and the wife starts getting in shape. Now all of a sudden the wife's $120 and the guy's 300 pounds. Do you think that's not going to inspire the 300-pound guy who's fat and out of shape to not? If it doesn't, it absolutely should. You know what I mean? Because first of all, you're going to be eating like a hog while she's eating healthy and lean. You're going to go places and she's going to get looked at, and they're going to say, "What's this beautiful girl doing with this fat ass?" You know what I mean? I mean, bottom line is, somebody in the family got to inspire. Somebody in the family got to get it started. So I want whoever you are out there, male, female, kid, you know, little kid, big kid, you be the one to take the ball and run with it. Turn your family's life around. If you have zero knowledge, we're here to help you with knowledge. You can go to kurtanglefoods.com. You can, you know, look at our, go to getyourgoodstufftv.com. You can watch our different shows. We've got a lot of good cooking shows. We're actually filming as we speak, you know, different types of shows. So we're going to actually work on a fitness show up here at Mac Fitness as well, so we can show you different routines, from basic routines up to advanced routines that'll, you know, keep you going to the next level. What I'd like to do for James is maybe take you around, Joe, and just a couple of light, you know, like I told him about hyperextensions, you know, I mean, which I believe is a great back strengthener when you have a weak back. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but again, it goes back to progression. Some people aren't even ready for the hyperextension, so we start them with a smaller movement, even a static hold or an isometric movement.
Well, how about if we go over there and we'll film it? Can you do the movement real quick? Where do you want to go? On your pad over here? Or? They can still hear us right now, JD, right? Okay, what I want you to look at, James, is what Joe's doing, and you know, the hyperextension, if you have a really bad back and it's natural, then do what Joe's going to show you first, and then he'll show you progression into the hyperextension.
We can do a couple different progressions now. What I like to do first is down on all fours. Then we'll just what I call priming the spine. It's actually just warming up your spine. So we'll get down on all fours, and we'll do a cow camel. And a lot of times with the lower back, it can be a tight hips have a lot to do, tight hamstrings, they all tie in that whole rear chain. So it may not just be the back that's the issue, but strengthening other areas like your glute muscles, your butt muscles, your hamstrings, loosening the hips, the inner thigh, all of that stuff.
Now, is that actually working a muscle there, Joe, or is that just stretching?
It's working a muscle, it's stretching, it's priming, I call it priming the spine. Okay. Do that first, we'll do about 10 of those, and then we can do just little progressions. I can get down. Now, again, depending on the severity of a back problem, if it's just someone who has a tight back or a weak back, they've never had any disc problems, they can get away with a little bit more. But like our James, talking to him and his issues, it doesn't sound like it's anything once we strengthen his back, it's gonna go a long way for him. But just keep your chin in, and it's a small move. You can just come up. Now I'm squeezing the butt, tightening the hamstrings, tightening the lower back. I might count to 5 seconds, and then I'll relax.
So basically, you're lifting off your upper body and your lower body at the same time. We used to call it Superman.
Keep it Superman for skydivers. Yeah, we're doing that just like this.
That's actually a great exercise. I used to do it. That is a freaking phenomenal exercise.
From James.
The lower lumbar.
I think he meant how.
Hey Joe, James asked, how much pressure does that put on the lower back?
Really, it's not putting, the discs aren't in a bad position. It's not compressing the spine, okay? I don't have gravity pushing directly down on the discs between the vertebrae. So it's a very safe progression to what is going to put more pressure on the spine is going right into the hyperextension.
Okay.
So that's why we start
So
with
you're
something
saying
like
that in that particular exercise, the stretching one and then the Superman,
Right.
you're talking they'll strictly
It's a-
work the muscle without putting any stress
It's
or
working,
strain on
that's
the
correct.
disc.
It's working
Okay.
the lumbar spine into the glutes with just a little isometric hold and the hamstrings simultaneously.
Now, somebody like James has some back concerns, or somebody just starting out, how long would you say to do that and for what period of time until they could progress?
Well, I would do this a few days a week. You can go through a series. You might do 5 repetitions in the very beginning, 5-second holds 5 times. Okay. Along with that, getting a stretching routine where you stretch your hamstrings. But again, stretching a cold muscle is another animal. You want to make sure you're warmed up. Maybe after you do 10-15 minutes of a treadmill or some type of aerobic activity, get your body warmed up, heat your muscles up, and then they respond to stretching a lot better. You get more value out of your stretch.
Now, would you recommend, I hear a lot of different things back and forth, I always do my treadmill first to get warmed up. Do you recommend that or not recommend
Again, what are the goals of your activity? If you're just a general public and you're just starting into a routine, everybody needs a warm-up. So 5, 7, 10-minute warm-up is good, and then you can go into your workout.
Okay.
Stretching a lot of times at the end of the workout is a great order to do your exercises in. Get all your exercises in, you're warmed up, stretch at the end while the muscles are warm, they're primed, and it's easier to elongate them. It's a great way to avoid a lot of soreness after a workout too. So a 10-minute warm-up, go through your workout. If you want to get a cardio workout too, go on after you've done your weights and do your 20 minutes on the treadmill. So the warm-up isn't the cardio.
So you're saying 10 minutes to warm you up.
Yeah,
that's not your cardio. That's your warm-up.
Not your cardio.
Do your training session.
Yeah.
Then do your stretching.
Then do your
do the cardio. Then do your
stretching.
Okay. So after your training, you actually do your cardio to burn your fat, and then stretch it.
That's a good general routine for someone just starting out. Again, it all comes back to what your goals are, what type of person, whether it's an athlete, whether it's a general public, whoever it is, that determines how in depth we are with their program.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: do you think an hour? James, you're welcome. We are here to help you. So anybody else has any questions, you can see the difference of me talking about it a little bit and giving you some direction, and a professional who's actually going to dissect it for you down to what you really need as an individual. So like I said, I'll get you started. I'll get the questions coming in. If you get me to the point where we need something or somebody more technical, I will find that person for you. So Spread the Health isn't about building ratings. It's about getting the public healthier. It's about educating you and giving you some inspiration to get off the couch and get going. A lot of times, maybe somebody like James is saying, hey, my back hurts, that's my reason or my excuse. Not that you make excuses, James, because you might be in the best shape I've ever seen, but we all use little reasons to have an excuse not to train today or not to do something today. But Joe just showed you that it doesn't matter how severe or unsevere your injury or your birth, your hereditary problem is. There's ways of getting around it. There's always reasons. I mean, look at the people that are in wheelchairs and still lift weights and train and are in the handicap Olympics. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's anything that keeps you from working out or from being healthy is just an excuse.
And the worst thing to do is nothing. The worst thing to do is just sit around and rest and hope and pray that it's going to get better. Whether it's an arthritic problem, stiff muscles, muscle soreness, you're coming back from an injury, a knee surgery, the worst thing you can do is just sit around and hope you're going to heal. You have to move. You have to get the blood flowing. If you don't have have blood flow to the injured area, you're not going to heal. You need the blood to the certain areas to carry the nutrients to help you heal. So don't just sit around. A lot of people, when they go to their therapy, therapy is there for a reason. If you go through your therapy and then the insurance runs out, you have a routine that you must keep going with. Just because you're not done in finished with your therapy in 6 weeks doesn't mean that you're better. So you have to continue with that physical therapy program, and a lot of those things you can do in a gym or at home with bands, stretches. You can do those yourself, or you get a personal trainer if you're still not comfortable doing those exercises. And it has to be a lifestyle and a routine.
You hit on a good point, Joe. You said that people that get an injury, they go to rehab and they work through the rehabilitation, and then most of them say, okay, I'm healed, I'm done. But honestly, if I have an injury and I haven't worked out, I would try to utilize that to get me started to continue to work out. So you said exactly. I've never said it on our show before, but you said exactly the way it's supposed to be. Don't use rehabilitation for a reason just to get back to where you were. Use it for a reason to get started to being better than you were. It is that simple. Like, if we're not making gains every day in the positive direction, keep in mind, we all age every day. We're all deteriorating every day. There's no getting around it. Time doesn't stop for any of us. But the bottom line is, if I let my deterioration of my body exceed past the way I'm trying to prevent the deterioration, then I'm going to age a lot quicker, and I'm going to age a lot less healthy. So the bottom line is, if you're declining at a 10% rate, you want to work out at a 15 or 20% rate to keep you going in the other direction. Like I've said many times, I'm 47 years old, and if I don't work out for 2 or 3 days, my muscles get soft, and I feel like an old man, like a potential old man happening within a matter of a few days. I could not live for a month before and not get to that stage in my muscles. So I'm aging and deteriorating every day. So I try and get to the gym and do something. An hour a day. I don't think an hour is too much to give yourself for yourself. I don't think an hour is too much that you wouldn't schedule for anything else that would pertain to somebody else or something you were excited about. Like I said, my neighbors cut their grass freaking 50,000 times. They wash their cars 50,000 times a day. And I don't like to cut my grass, and I don't even touch my car to wash it. And then I feel bad sometimes, but then as I'm walking out of my door with my gym bag, and I see them washing their car, and they got diabetes, and they're smoking, and they're this, and they're that, and I say, wait a minute, I'd rather, instead of washing my car, put my time into me. This is my vehicle. So you can, we all have positives and negatives, for what we're doing, but you got to focus on what's important to you. Your health should be first. Nothing else. You can't enjoy nothing else if you're not healthy. Jess in Wexford. Joe is. You want to tell her exactly where you're at in Wexford, Joe?
Yes, we are right in the heart of Wexford, 12645 Perry Highway. We're right next to the Thomasville Furniture Store, and 2 buildings south of us is the Walnut Grove Restaurant. So we're pretty conveniently located in the Wexford area, right off of Route 19.
Yeah. Now Joe's a training gym, so when you come here, Joe's going to take you from absolutely knowing nothing to as far as you want to be, or to as moderate as you want to be. You can determine that. Like my son, when he came in, I didn't expect him to do as well as he did, but he's doing incredible. He's doing incredible. A lot of it is because of how Joe teaches. He's not, he teaches with the right mentality and the right personality. He works with you. He grooms you into, he's not like a drill sergeant that's going to make you miserable to come here and train. He actually makes you enjoy it. So I do commend Joe on how he handles his business and his facility and his clients. I recommend if you're not local to here, find someone that's going to treat you right, understand your needs, and help understand where you're at instead of where they want you to be. And one of the last points I want to make, and I think Joe will, we're running, well over, but one of the last points I want to make, and I think Joe will agree, don't worry about where everybody else is at. Don't worry about what he can lift compared to me.
And don't wait for anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And don't hold up waiting for anybody.
Don't wait for anybody.
The bottom line is set your own goals, block everything else out and everybody else out, and just, start your way gradual, depending on where you're at, depending on how far you want to go. Find a start point and make goals. Is that correct, Joe?
Absolutely.
Gigs TV is now on Twitter. Follow us at Gigs TV. What is it? GY Gigs TV, GYGS TV. I want to thank you guys. First of all, Joe, I want to thank you for
Absolutely.
participating
You'll see me
today. You know, we are up here in Mac Fitness in Wexford. Our Health Up Cafe, second location.
What's your web address?
Mac, M-A-C, Fittest, Fittest.com.
Yeah, get in touch with Joe. I mean, I highly, highly recommend him. You know, he's got boxing ring, he's got, you know, athlete training, he's got, you know, pretty much everything you want to do here. But, you know, even best of all now, he's got Health Up Cafe. So, you know, come on up and see Joe. You know, see us here. We're going to be live here on Fridays, with the exception of next Friday, JD, because JD's got to go out of town. Is that next Friday? JD? Next Friday, right?
23rd.
Oh, the 23rd. So we'll be here next Friday again. The 23rd we won't. But log in if you're looking for, you know, better fitness advice from a real trainer. You know, we'll be here on Fridays. If you tune in during the week and you want some advice, I talk with Joe every day. I can get some questions answered for you the following day. So, you know, thank you, Joe, for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you for allowing us to film here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on Monday.